Aloha and welcome to the screencast E48C, the third screencast of this second Meteor module. And once again, we're going to go through and add a small extension to a sample Meteor system. This one is one of my favorite sample Meteor systems. It's called Bowfolios. Um, and I made this to give you example code that implements a lot of the features that your final projects might provide. So I think it's really worth getting familiar with this system because I think you'll see solutions to a lot of problems that students have encountered in prior semesters. I've kind of engineered the solutions into this sample system. It's a lot more complicated than the Meteor application template or the Meteor example form React systems, but I think you can handle it, and it's not that complicated, really. So anyway, what we're going to do in this practice WOD is to create an I'm feeling lucky page. Now, if you go to Google, there's this button here, I'm feeling lucky. It's been around for a long time. Now they've made it fancy and it spins around. But it started off just being this I'm feeling lucky button where you click it and it takes you to actually the first search result directly. So if I say foo and then I click I'm feeling lucky, it doesn't show you the list of possible results. It takes you straight to whatever the first result was. That's how it used to work. Let's see. Yeah, so foo from Urban Dictionary. So that was the behavior. Well, that inspired me to say, let's do an I'm feeling lucky button for Bowfolios. But since we're not really searching, I decided that what that thing will do is randomly select a profile card from all of the profiles currently defined in the system and just take you to that one. And so basically what we'll do is we'll create a new page, the lucky page. We'll create a new navbar entry, I'm feeling lucky, that will go to that page, and then the implementation of that page will be to randomly choose just one of the profile cards and render that one. Not too hard, but it's intended to kind of get you familiar with the template and fiddle around with it a little bit. So before starting, definitely read through the Bowfolios page. There's quite a bit, and even more importantly, there are about 60 minutes of videos that take you through all of the pieces of Bowfolios. This is critical to go through this. This is probably 2 30-minute sessions. Take a little break maybe after the first couple, and definitely go through those before you proceed into this WOD, because otherwise you're just kind of copying what I'm doing and you won't really maybe understand what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. And then the learning opportunity just doesn't happen. Okay, so the second part is to install the template. This is basically just like all the other ones. If you go to the sample system, you'll see there's this use this template button. I've already used the button to create a template, so I'm not going to go through this part of it. But what you can see is that we do have the system now running. I created the template as instructed called My Bowfolios, and then if we go back to Google Chrome, you can go here and you can see at localhost 3000 I've got that Bowfolio system running. So we've done that prelude part, and then set up IntelliJ and ESLint. So if I go in IntelliJ and I go, I guess I tell you guys to go to here for reasons not really well founded, but any file will do. And if you type a few times, you go over here, you can see, okay, the ESLint is actually working. It's very important to make sure the ESLint is working in order to make sure that you get the benefits of ESLint. And ESLint will find lots of errors for you that are hard to find if you don't have ESLint running, so it is worth it. So if Meteor is running, exit it, invoke Meteor reset, then invoke Meteor npm run start. So I guess we'll do that. So I'll do Control-C to exit it, Meteor reset. And again, this is just to to make sure that we start with a fresh database. In this case, it's not strictly necessary because we're not really changing schemas or even manipulating the database at all. But I don't know. I like to have you think about that just to get in the habit of doing that to become thoughtful about the state of the database during development, because during development is when schemas are changing and you're adding things, and you want to have a process in place to think about how you're going to deal with, repopulating the database when you are changing things. Okay, so the next thing I'm supposed to do is start the timer. So I'll start it, and then I'm going to create a branch called add lucky one using GitHub Desktop. So if I go get GitHub Desktop and I say new branch, then I type in add lucky one, create branch, and then it suggests that I publish it. I like publishing, so I'll do that. And then we go back to here, and so the first thing to notice is that the I'm Feeling Lucky page looks very similar to the existing profiles page, except that it always contains a single profile. So the way I would start by doing this is creating a new page based upon the profiles page called Lucky. And so we'll create a new lucky.jsx file in the pages directory, which will be a copy of the profiles .jsx file. And then we'll do some renaming to say, okay, this is a lucky page, not a profiles page. And we'll create a route called lucky that renders it. And at the end of all that, we can go, if you make this bigger, you can see if I go to the route that ends with lucky rather than profiles, I'll see a copy of what actually appears on the profiles page, because we're using that almost as kind of our template. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So here I am. Here's my profiles page, or profiles file, which implements the profiles page component. So I can do a propeller C, a propeller V, and we're going to call this lucky.jsx. And then what we have to do is say, okay, so this is called the lucky page rather than the profile page. And so we have to make do a little bit of editing. Lucky page.prop types, and then lucky page, and you can see we're getting these errors, which is really nice because it helps us know when we get back to the green check mark over here that anything that needed to be renamed was renamed. So we've got this lucky.jsx thing, and now we want to be able to have that page. So to do that, we go to app.jsx, and we need to import the lucky page. So we say import lucky from pages lucky. And actually, let me just check here, profiles page, import, right, okay, so so we're going to import lucky from pages.lucky. So it's a default import, so basically we can rename this everything, but we're going to pick up that default component, which is lucky page, and rename it to lucky in this file. And we get the ESLint error, lucky is defined but never used, which is what we expect. So we'll define a path that goes to lucky, and the component will be lucky, and then we get the green check mark back. So now we can watch to see, okay, it's just restarted. So if we go back over to Google Chrome and go into Bowfolios, let's get rid of this foo thing, we can see we go to profiles, we see a bunch of profiles, but we can replace that with lucky, and we get the exact same page, which is what we expect because we made a copy of that profiles page component, and just said, look, if we route to the lucky page, we route to the lucky route, we'll get that copy. So we're getting that copy of the profiles page, but at the lucky route. All right. So now we've manually typed in the lucky URL. We get to this page. The next thing is we want to do is add the I'm feeling lucky navbar link, and make sure that clicking on the link takes you to the lucky page. So let's go back over to here, and let's go to navbar, and we can see the links here. Let's make a copy propeller D of that line and say, following the interests, we'll have a link called I'm feeling lucky, exclamation point. And this is interesting. It turns out that you're not supposed to put quote marks into HTML strings in React. They want you to use an ampersand, a pause, semicolon. So let's try that. Ampersand, a pause, colon. And oh, we've gone over the line limit. So unfortunately, we have to do something like this to make sure that we get the green check mark again, which we do. And then if we go back over to Google Chrome and go into Bowfolios, we have this I'm feeling lucky link. And you can tell that it actually works by the fact that it's highlighted, and we can go back and forth from it. So that's good. Okay, so we got this navbar link. Okay, so now instead of displaying all the portfolios, you want to select only one to display at random. And it turns out that there's an underscore JS function, which is just super useful in this context, which is called sample. I think it's in the utility area. Maybe not. Here it is. Okay. Sample. So underscore sample on a list with an optional argument n produces a random sample from the list. Pass a number to return n random elements, or otherwise a single random item will be returned. So we just, so the way this really makes our life easy, we go back into Lucky. What we can see here is that that when we render the page, we get all of the emails by doing a find.fetch and plucking the email field. So the one thing we could do is we could say underscore.sample of this, and what we've got is the email that we want. This is an array of emails called sample. We've randomly sampled one of the emails. Okay, and then what happens is we have to do a little bit of fiddling here because we no longer are doing all these maps. So now we just get the profile data associated with that email, and then we just make the card associated with that email. We don't have to do any, crazy stuff. And in fact, we don't even need a key because we don't have any, we just have one of these things. Okay, so given that, we've got the green check mark. And so if I go back to Google Chrome and look at Bowfolios, if I click I'm feeling lucky, I now get a randomly selected portfolio. Isn't that cool? Okay, that's pretty close to what I want. Okay, the system works, but there's a lot of code duplication in the profiles.js and lucky.js. All right, so you can see here, lucky page, we've got this make card thing, and in profiles.js, we've got all that make card thing. That seems crazy. It's the exact same code, creating a React component, um, but and is copied in two places. So that's obviously not a nice thing. So one way to reduce this code duplication is to refactor the make card component into its own file and import it into both of these components. So let's make a profile card component and we'll import it. So how can we do that? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lucky.jsx file and I'm going to copy it into the components directory and I'm going to call it profile card. Okay, and then when I get in here, what I'm going to do is think about what stuff I should delete, because all I really want is profile card and profile card, and then all this lucky page stuff goes away. Oops. Okay, and then once we've done that, we've got a lot of, and this is the beauty of ESLint, right? It's going to tell us that there's all this stuff here that we no longer need. So let's delete it. Okay, and so now we've got this profile card.jsx, which is a nice little, React component that's a piece of a page. And now what we can do is we can go to lucky.jsx and we can say, let's not use this make card stuff at all. We just get rid of that. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to import profile card from .components / profile card, and then where we see make card, we'll just do profile card. Okay. And we get the, let's see this. Oh, right. So we still have these, we have some now extraneous imports from back when we had make card. So we can do that. And we now see we've got no ESLint errors. We've got some kind of typo in here somewhere that I don't see, but it's not an there's no ESLint errors anymore. And so now let's go look and see if I'm feeling lucky still displays. And it doesn't, so let's look and see what we did wrong. Oh, right, you likely forgot to export the file. Okay, I did. So profile card, export const profile card. So we'll do that, go back here, and yay, things now work. And we click this, we get the same behavior as we did before. So now the last step, now that lucky works, let's go to profiles. And similarly, we'll get rid of make card. And we'll import profile card from components profile card. And then instead of saying make card, we'll say profile card. And then we get rid of these imports that are no longer appropriate. Get the check mark, go back to here. Let's look at profiles. Profiles now works fine, like we want it to. And so I think we've accomplished that. All right. So we've done that. So the last step: quit out of Meteor and run Meteor npm run lint. Okay. So we'll go back to the terminal. Go to Meteor npm run lint just to make sure that we've gotten rid Meteor npm run lint. Let's make sure we've gotten rid of all our errors. Oh my goodness, there is an error. Header is defined but never leaves in interest.jsx. And you know what? That actually turns out to be a problem in Bowfolios, which I have fixed but since the time that I created this template. So at any rate, we can fix that super easy. And now we rerun it, meteor npm run lint, and everything is fine. System works fine. We've got our profiles, I'm feeling lucky page is maybe not working because we have to actually run the system. Meteor npm run start. So once that happens, we'll actually stop this till it. And actually, Control-C stop meter, stop your timer, note your time. We'll say 15 minutes for this one. Commit and push add lucky one branch to GitHub. So we'll take our add lucky one branch and we'll say add, what was the message we were supposed to say? Add lucky page committed in 15, lucky page implemented in 15 minutes. Commit, push. Okay, and there we have it. I'm just curious. Okay, things are up again. So we go here, we see it's all back the way we want it to be. So we'll quit. Control-C. All right, so there you have the implementation of a lucky page, Bowfolios. Hope you're feeling comfortable with this system. I think it's got a lot of useful code in there that you can use in future.